7 will be presenting the topic on liberalism. My name is Muhammad Fadil bin Talib, metric number 231-281.
My name is Muhammad Lufud Al-Manakir, metric number 2311245.
And my name is Aiman Shahrawi, metric number 2316719.
My name is Ahmad Hakim Biamadini. My metric number is 2413815.
My name is Muhammad Asim Akharana. My metric number is 2321773.
I will start our presentation with introduction. Our presentation examines liberalism and its comparison with Islamic principles. Liberalism, rooted in the age of enlightenment, emphasizes individual freedom, equality, and secularism, also often challenging religious values. In contrast, Islam upholds freedom and equality within the framework of Sharia, emphasizing responsibility to both society and divine principles. It seeks to balance individual rights with social welfare, guided by moral and ethical boundaries that ensure harmony and justice. This study evaluates their similarities and differences, connecting them to Sustainable Development Goals 10 and 16, which is focusing on reducing inequalities and promoting justice. It explores whether liberalism aligns or contradicts Islam and their potential to contribute to a just, ethical society.
And I will continue with the history and the concept of liberalism. So, the definition of liberalism is a political and philosophical ideology that emphasizes the human freedom, equality, and also democracy. So, the roots of liberalism back then in the Enlightenment era, which is in 17th century until 18th century, the thinker, which is John Locke, advocate for the natural right, which is life, liberty, and also property. So we have to know what is the key of the historical milestone. So it started with the 17th century, which is it emerged as the response for the absolutism and also monarchies, which is the example is English Civil War and also Lord influences. So then it go for the 18th century, which is inspired by the revolution like American Revolution and also French Revolution that demand the constitutional government and the individual rights. So we go forward until the modern liberalism, which is 20th century. It shifts to the address, which is social inequality. So the government began to balance the individual freedom with public welfare, such as healthcare and also education.
And now I'm going to talk about principles and characteristics of liberalism. First, we have freedom. Freedom is central to liberalism. It means individual can act as they choose without unnecessary interference, and especially from the government. There are two types of freedom. First is negative freedom, which means being free from restriction like oppressive laws. And the second one is positive freedom, which means having the resources and power to achieve personal goals. Next is justice and equality. Justice and equality in liberalism mean fair treatment under the law. It is about ensuring everyone has equal opportunities, regardless of their background. For instance, laws like the Equal Pay Act in United States address discrimination, while access to public services, as seen in Cuba, demonstrate equality of opportunity in practice. Next, we have rationality. Rationality reflects the liberal belief in human reason. Liberals trust that people can think critically, solve problems, and make responsible decisions. Rationality also supports democracy, where individuals debate and decide collectively based on evidence and logic. And finally, individuality. Individuality in liberalism emphasizes the importance of personal freedom and responsibility. Everyone has the right to pursue their own goals and live their life as they choose, as long as it doesn't harm others. This respect for personal choice builds stronger and more united societies according to liberalism.
Okay, next, let's move to my part. And my subtopic is impact of liberalism on people. What is impact of liberalism on people? First, civil rights movement and social reforms in the US. Liberalism drove social justice efforts like the civil rights movement, promoting racial equality and justice, aligning with Islamic principle of unity and equality. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ emphasized in his final sermon that human worth is based on righteousness, not race or heritage. However, liberalism focused on unrestricted freedoms such as in lifestyle choices, sometimes conflicts with Islamic values on morality and community harmony. Second, welfare state and human rights in Western Europe. Liberalism shaped welfare systems, ensuring healthcare, education, and social security. While these align with Islamic ideals of supporting the needy, their secular foundation overlooks spiritual and moral dimensions. Islam promotes welfare through zakat, fostering compassion, accountability, and community bonds. Liberal values, emphasizing personal freedoms, sometimes clash with Islam's focus on ethical limits and collective well-being, as highlighted in the Quran. وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا وَادْعُوهُ خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا. That means, do not commit mischief on the earth after it has been set in order. Surah 7, verse 56. So, liberalism prioritizes individual rights and state dependency, while Islam balances personal freedom with moral responsibility, emphasizing community interdependence.
What about the strengths and shortcomings of liberalism? First, in terms of liberalism and personal autonomy, Islam acknowledges personal autonomy, particularly in religious belief, aligning with liberal principles of autonomy. The Quran emphasizes La ikraha fid din, Surah Baqarah, sentence 256, showcasing respect for personal belief without coercion. However, it must be reminded that Islamic autonomy is discipline. Once faith is embraced, it demands sincere adherence, akin to committing to driving rules once we are on the road. Secondly, in commitment for justice and equality. Justice in Islam mirrors liberal ideas. The Quran emphasizes and calls for fairness even against personal interests. The Prophet Muhammad upheld impartial justice, emphasizing equality under the law, as seen in his symbolic statement about his daughter Fatima in the analogy if she was caught stealing. Additionally, Islam's justice seen practically better, as for example in the inheritance system, faraid system, balance equality with practical responsibility, unlike liberalism, uniform application. And thirdly, in terms of social welfare and economic justice, Islam advocates for social welfare too, as seen in zakat, paralleling in liberal social equity. However, Islamic economic justice ties to spirituality aspect, emphasizing benefit in this life and the afterlife, dunya wal akhirah, unlike liberalism's secular focus on material outcomes only. Fourthly, in terms of morality and freedom, is while liberalism promotes unrestricted freedom, Islam defines personal freedom with divine guidelines. For instance, liberalism may support LGBTQ plus rights, but Islam restricts such expressions, focusing on preserving societal morals and divine justice. The Quran warns, against actions like premarital or same-sex relationships aiming to balance personal freedom with societal and spiritual well-being.
In conclusion, Islam and liberalism, there are some similarities, especially in common values such as freedom, justice, and human rights. But there also some difference, especially in principle and approach. Liberalism promotes unrestricted individual freedom, often detached from moral or religious guidelines, which can lead to social imbalance. In contrast, Islam offers a balance framework where freedom is tied to morality, ethics, and Sharia law. This ensures individual rights are respected while safeguarding social welfare. Unlike liberalism, secular foundation, Islam integrates spiritually and social responsibility to create a comprehensive system for justice and equality. Therefore, while liberalism and Islam may align in certain aspirations, Islam ultimately contradicts liberalism due to its emphasis on moral and spiritual boundaries. Islam provides a more holistic and balanced approach to achieve justice and harmony in society. That's all from my group. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Instram from Australia, he says, whenever we talk to some people who consider themselves to be liberals, and in Islam we don't have liberals. We have Muslims and non-Muslims. So when someone comes and says, yeah, I'm a Muslim, but I'm a liberal Muslim. What is a liberal Muslim? If you're liberal, I'm conservative. What do you mean by liberal? It means that I have no problem with LGBT. I have no problem with homosexuality. I have no problem if people change their religions and flip from Islam to Hinduism or to Christianity. I have no problem with people having things that go against Islam, but it doesn't impact me. This is between them and Allah. So if someone opens a brothel, no problem. People have to have fun. If someone opens a bar, sells intoxicants, no problem. It's a free country. This is not liberalism. This is kufr, disbelief, because they're accepting other than Allah's Sharia. And Islam is all about convictions. So those who say, whenever you talk to them about LGBT, for example, and that this is condemned by Jews, Christians, and Muslims. So all these religions consider that to be sinful. And it's a major sin. And they say, yeah, this is between them and Allah. Maybe, but also child molesting is between them and Allah. Also rape is between them and Allah. Stealing people's homes without them knowing and not being caught is between me and Allah. That does not justify it. That does not legitimize it. So we as Muslims have Quran and Sunnah that governs everything we do. They govern our convictions and beliefs. And as a Muslim, you do not have the right to condole or to endorse what such sinful people do by saying this is between them and Allah. Yes, it's true. Nobody told you to go and beat them up. But we tell you not to endorse it, not to be fine with it. They want to be LGBT on their own time and on their own place. That's their problem. You don't force me to go and socialize with them and normalize ties with them and think that what they're doing is their right and I have no objection, so I have to endorse it, invite them over to dine in my home and maybe take my kids for the afternoon. No, you don't have the right to do that. I don't tell you to do anything harmful to them. This is their life. But
Assalamualaikum everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
Today we will discuss the topic of liberalism, which is I came across a poem about liberalism, which is about two lovers from different religions. May I read that? I envision us facing away from each other as the moon fills our minds, as we shyly close our eyes in anticipation. Tonight, though, I long for distance, a barrier like a wall to come between us. I face the mosque while you face the synagogue, yet I still yearn to glimpse you from across the divide, credit or debit. We both reveal the same holy direction, love. Do not worry about my wish. I simply occasionally desire to be an extraordinary lover, to breed you in even from opposite ends. What about you? Have you ever came across any liberalism movement in your daily life?
The example of liberalism in nowadays, I think same-sex marriage or LGBT, from Islamic perspective, this practice is clearly prohibited by Islam as stated in the Quran. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. ولوطا إذ قال لقومه أتأتون الفاحشة ما سبقكم بها من أحد من العالمين إنكم لتأتون الرجال شهوة من دون النساء بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. Islam prohibits this practice because it violates human nature or fitratul nas or fitratul insan, which is men for girls and girls for men. This natural pairing is fundamental to the continuity of human life and establishment of families as intended by Allah. That's from me.
What about you? Do you agree with that?
Yes, I totally agree with his opinion, and I also have my opinion about liberalism movement nowadays, especially in Malaysia. We can see that sister in Islam, they, in their views, they fight for gender equality and claims that some of the applied Sharia laws, such as the division of faraid system or divorce rights, are discriminatory against women. Many of scholars stated that they fail to understand the wisdom behind those laws, which actually recognize and protected women's rights within the framework of Islam.
Okay. Thank you for your opinion. What about you? Do you have any suggestion to prevent this bad influence from destroying our society?
For me, I guess I have one suggestion, which is Muslim need to increase their level of iman. Because as we know, Shaitan will always try their best to persuade human or mankind so that we disobey Allah's order or command and make us fall into hell. Like what we can do is to repair our salat, to repair our salat so that we become perfect. Like Allah have mentioned in the Quran, Inna tatanha anil fahsya wal munkar. Inna salat tatanha anil fahsya wal munkar. Indeed, prayer will deter one the weakness. So I guess there is one solution from me. How about you?
So I totally agree with that, and I think in addition to that opinion, maybe the government or preaching bodies can spread awareness about this movement. So maybe they can increase campaigns or spread via media, social media, so that public knows that what so that public knows that liberal is contradict with Islamic views. So I think we as Muslims need to unite so that we can fight against this ideology and gain his rahmah.
Thank you.